For half a century, the Mercedes-Benz SL has been a five-star symbol of success. Bobby Ewing graced South Fork with one, and Jonathan Hartwood is Mrs. Jennifer with another. From Hollywood to Hartlepool, the SL is a special motor car.
Put a spell on you. Cause you're mine.
In fact, ever since Mercedes-Benz decided to transfer big brake horsepower and slippery aerodynamics from the track to the road, the SL has been its flagship model. And each one looks as reassuringly expensive, glamorous and exclusive today as it did on the day it was first drawn. The SL had an elfin grace in the 60s, was rakishly angled in the 70s, and was so power-dressed in the 80s, it should have worn shoulder pads. With film star looks and lines reflecting the times, the SL was the it car for it girls and boys. But the best thing about the SL is that it's always been built by engineers and enthusiasts rather than accountants. It truly is a byword for benchmark. But sadly, things are no longer what they used to be. After 12 long years, the current SL will shortly be collecting its pension. Young ladies no longer lust after Robert Wagner, and Dallas is about as chic as a China Dalmatian. Mercedes, too, aren't quite what they once were. After a suspect marriage with Chrysler, it seems the accountants are now costing the cars rather than the engineers. And it shows, with much of the current range feeling rather low rent, more cardboard than carbon fibre. Old-school Merc build quality is being done better by BMW, Porsche, Jaguar and even Maserati these days. So, can the new SL reclaim the crown? Well, it's looking good. Visually, this is the new king of retro modern design. Mercedes has blended those sensual 50s curves with sci-fi styling cues jetted in from the forthcoming McLaren Mercedes supercar, the SLR. Proper quality has staged a comeback. The SL's cabin is beautifully well crafted, fantastically well equipped, stylish to look at, imaginative, witty, well conceived and very, very logical. And the air conditioning system in itself is a work of simple genius. All you have to do is twizzle that and then push that, and it even lights up. Absolutely gorgeous. And as for the roof, look at this. And in the greatest tradition of helping preserve their customers' expensive bouffant hairdos, Mercedes has thoroughly trumped the opposition by fitting a bigger, even faster variation of the SLK's brilliant retractable hardtop roof. Not only does it only take 16 seconds to do its funky thing, it's also pure poetry in motion. Where the engineers triumph, the designers excel. The SL looks sublime with the roof down or up. Driving the old SL was, by 21st century standards, beginning to feel like something of an antique experience. Mercedes was obsessed in the late 80s with over-engineering their cars, which meant that the SL seemed to have lost touch with the true meaning of that badge, which is sports liked, as in lightweight. Now, while this brand new SL500 is a whopping 120 kilograms lighter than the car it replaces, it's still no featherweight. What's needed here, I think, is some rocket science. Which is exactly what the engineers have used. This car intends to remain friends with your insurance company, even if you decide to tackle a boomerang bend at an unhealthy speed. So, how does it do that then? Well, by way of numerous sensors that link body control, stability and braking electronically rather than mechanically. And by God, does it work! In fact, it works so well, the SL feels easily as agile as a sports car half its weight. At about £70,000, you'd expect the SL to be an able actor in any environment. And it is. In fact, it's an Oscar winner. Its stunning brakes dry themselves in the wet. Its seats gently massage your buttocks. It wafts like a limo, yet can charge like a rhino. Its auto box changes gear seamlessly. And it's silent at motorway speeds. Oh, cars like this make my job really difficult. They do. You see, the new SL is perfect. OK, so the Porsche Carrera might be more fun, but it's also a lot more noisy. And the Jaguar XKR might be more soulful, but the SL goes and stops much more convincingly. And it has that amazing roof. Never mind Dallas, the SL dynasty is in the safest possible pair of hands.